Good, e- good evening, everyone. Welcome to
Good evening.
today's session. We're working on time management in the classroom. And with us here is Mr. Mcanthony. He's someone I respect so much in the education field. He has a lot of insights. He wouldn't know, as a music teacher, he taught me how to teach math. He would not know. I never told him that. So, Mr. Mcanthony, please, over to you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And that's a shocker. That's the way to start is a shocker that I taught you how to teach maths. That's a really shocker. A real shocker. But interestingly, that's the journey, I guess. We learn from people, people learn from us. Iron sharpens iron. We just get better as we go on because it's an ever ending journey. Learning, I would say, you keep learning every day from the least of things, even from the children, you keep learning every day. So, but I'm excited to hear that. All right. I don't know how we came about, if I'm the right person for this, because right now, I do not even think I'm managing my time well. But But anyhow, I'm sure we all deal with this from time to time at home, in the workplace, and all of that. Why we're doing it is to see that we get better. We try to strike a balance. I don't even know if that's possible, but we keep striving. We keep striving to get better each day so that we can be most productive as individuals on the jobs we do, in the places we're located. So quickly, we're going to run through a few ideas here and there. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately, all of the lovely slides and pictures I put together, ah, I can't believe that they just crashed because I'm trying to move house. But all the same, scribbling here and there, we'll get through it, and hopefully everyone's going to leave here with something. Now, one thing I'm sure of is none of these terminologies or nomenclatures are new to us. None of it is new to us. Even if it's changed tomorrow into sounding something else, when you look at the content, you discover it's the same thing. But at some point in our journey, I'd like to believe everyone here has struggled with time at one point or the other. It may be your fault, it may not be your fault, it may be the teacher's fault, it may be the school's fault, it may be an external
Yeah,
factor that
rush the
you don't
food,
even
rush
have
it, direction.
control over. But all the same, we will try to do justice to what's before us. Now, time management in the classroom. Uh, Thankfully, it's been narrowed to the classroom because time as an entity is a whole lot. It's quite vague because it cuts across every sphere of life. The philosophy of time is being discussed even till date by philosophers, by researchers, by professors. It's still being discussed. How people think time is money, and some people tell you time is not money because there are things that are more important than money and all of that and all of that. But thankfully, we're not going to the philosophy of time. We're just dealing with time in the classroom as related to our engagement as teachers. Now, first off, I'd like to establish that it's not just for us. It's most importantly for the children that we teach. You want to manage your time so that you're able to go through the whole process, but to what end? To make sure you're able to deliver the very best to the students and their time is not being wasted, their time is not being taken for granted. So yeah, what's time management? I'd like anyone, to just say something what they think time management is. I'll start with Grace. It's been a long time I talked to Grace and heard her voice. So Grace, over to you. If you can hear me. Can Grace hear me?
It's great.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Max. Sorry, can you please recap again?
Yes. So I was asking, in your own words, in your own little corner, what do you think time management in the classroom is?
Okay. In my own words, I think classroom time management in the classroom encompasses you being able to achieve a lot of things with the minimal time you have.
Okay. Okay. Because I agree with you largely be- uh, in the when you say limited time that you have. Yes, indeed, it is limited. People want to do a whole lot of things within that limited time, and sometimes they sacrifice quality for quantity. They get a whole lot done, but actually nothing is being done. You know, and we will try as much as possible to find ways to eradicate that and become more productive and efficient. I like to put these words together because it's all encompassing. You are being efficient, you're being productive, within an appropriate time. I chose the word appropriate time because there are lots of things when people design curriculums as a country, Nigeria. I'd like to believe everyone listening right now is around this. So I try to tailor these things to specific areas while we're still looking at the globe in general. I was speaking with someone yesterday and we're talking about water, how they use water here in the UK, and how they've been able to develop a curriculum such that they're not wasting water because they don't have it. Now, in Nigeria, for example, we have excess of water that were not being used properly. So, if we lift that same curriculum to deal with water the way they deal with water, it's actually a misplaced kind of thing for a country like Nigeria. We should be able to use our water, but use it properly, better than because we have it. These guys don't have it. The one you use to wash your plates or whatever, it goes through a process, comes back as the water you drink. It goes through a process, comes back as that type of thing. So yes, I try to um, tailor such presentations to fit. Now, I'll give another instance. The policies of government, the external factors, the insecurities, lots of things, parents, and all of those things that can affect how you run through your daily operations are not here. It's streamlined. If you go, if you veer off the plan, they see you as doing the wrong thing.
Mm.
But where we are, we're way back in Nigeria, if you veer off the plan, you're expected to still maximize whatever you're doing and go back to the primary thing and still get the very best out of it. So I'll give it to. I've experienced both. I'll tell you, we're superhumans way back. Trust me, we're superhumans. We the things we do back home. Oh, come on, we're doing really well. So now, time management. You want to ensure efficiency and productivity in the allotted time or the appropriate time for yourself and for the students. Now, it is very, very important. I'm moving gradually to why it is very, very important, and we'll get to how we can actually do this. It is important because it will help you a lot to manage your stress level. It will help you a lot to focus better. It will improve your creativity, of course. Now you can attain and achieve the goals. You'll get some now. Now I'm being tempted to use the word, but I'll use it still. You get some free time. Now the free time I'm talking about may not be in school because you hardly ever get anything. You don't even have a downtime in school as a teacher. I've done other jobs here, and I'm like, whoa. am I really doing anything? It doesn't feel like I'm working because there's so much downtime. People go out to have a tiggy break. People just that I'm like, whoa, this is so relaxing. Even though it can be toxic in another area altogether, but teachers really do not have a downtime. You're not holding pen to paper, your brain is working. You're not standing in front of the children, your brain is working. You're not with the children in your class, every other child in the school is your responsibility. So that's when you leave work at the end of the day, say about 5 o'clock, you'll be wondering, what have I done today? Why is my whole body aching? Why I can't focus? I'm stressed. What's happening? Because the work is demanding. That's why it's very important for us to manage our time. Because the time will come when, and it's getting there gradually, like I've experienced here. Here, a teacher is always held responsible, is always wrong. Children cannot be wrong because of the child protection laws and the safeguarding things and all of that. They'll tell you once, even the ones who are 17 and have beards everywhere and doing things, they still cannot be wrong because they are temp children. So teachers will be held responsible. Even when you try to defend yourself to the very latter, the best that will come out of that situation will be, it's okay, it's all right, we can let it go, but you know they are children. They're not telling you you are right or make that child responsible or accountable. No, they just let it go. No, they are children. If the child is not learning, it's your fault. If the child comes late to school, it's your fault. Everything is just the teacher's fault. So it's a whole lot of burden altogether. Thankfully, we're not there yet in Nigeria, but from because the world is coming together. Um, these guys here, they were not here. A whole lot of things led to this child protection thingy and safeguarding things. If it starts to happen in Nigeria, then dealing with all of the things teachers are dealing with right now, with with the meager salary people take home, it's going to be just too much. Now, how therefore do we manage the allotted time? How do we ensure that we maximize the time given against all of these odds that we have to face? Because there are lots of odds there. There are events that will pop up without being in the year plan or the term plan. There are external factors of policies and schools being shut for 2 days, 3 days, and you still have to make up, you have to meet up. There are lots of things. How, therefore, do we manage the time? Because you're looking at long term, you're looking at short term, you're looking at immediate events. How, therefore, do we manage the time? The few tips I'm going to give, they're all around there, everywhere, on Google, everywhere. They'll tell you the same things, the same things, the same things. But I try to, like I said, try to narrow it down to where you're at right now and how to maximize it around what you do. So first on the list, how best to manage your time will be to have a to-do list, right? Make sure you have a to-do list. Now, a to-do list can be set at any time. I try to tell people to bring your individuality into your operations. Bring your uniqueness into your operations. That I am doing it this way does not mean it's the only way. Neither is it the best way. It's the way that works for me. I remember working with my former head, our former head, Mr. Bruce. The first issue I had with him was when he wanted a particular thing done, the first few times he gave me such tasks, he wants a particular thing, say, on Tuesday afternoon, and the week before on a Thursday, he comes to ask me, Mr. Mcanthony, how is it going? Is it ready? And I'll tell him, I haven't done it. I have not even started. And he flies up because he's very temperamental. He doesn't know what he's doing. I was actually declared incompetent in one of the SLT meetings. But you know, and on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, he's looking for an alternative because he's there's no way I can get it done between Thursday and Tuesday that he wants it in his thoughts. But on Tuesday, when there's no alternative, like, okay, let's see what he's been able to do, and let's see how much time we can buy to give. Then we do it, and it becomes excellent. And they'll be like, when and where did he do it? As at Thursday, he said he had not started. So when did he do it? Now I do things in my head before I execute anything for people to see, be it an assignment or anything. People are doing theirs. I can wait for the last minute, and I'll still present a very good output. Now, this is me understanding my individuality, my uniqueness, how it works for me. You need to understand how best you work and when you work best. Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? You need to understand how best you work. If you can't actually do it like anyone else, if you try to do it like anyone else, you'll crash. You'll crash. It works for them does not mean it should work for you. So understand your uniqueness, your individuality. Get a to-do list. Now the to-do list can be manual, it can be digital. I always encourage people to go digital. That way, it's in a device. You can go everywhere. You can access it from any device and anywhere. When you do your plans, your to-do list digitally. If it's manual, it's also fine. You can carry it about. People still do that. It's because it's not a direct conversion from manual operations to digital operations just yet. Both of them are still running simultaneously, so you must know which works best for you. But most importantly, have a to-do list on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. It can be on a termly basis. You get the term plan. You begin to brew ideas in your mind. How are we going to achieve this? And most importantly, I try people to I encourage people to build a routine for yourself and the children at the beginning of the session or the term. If you choose to use a timing device in class, depending on the class you're teaching, as low as early as you can have a routine in place, and they know when whatever task should come to an end. Because the school already has the routine. If it's break time, you don't tell them it's break time. They know it's break time. So if they know that, they can actually know when the task is coming to an end, when the task has ended, when a new task is beginning. So build a routine. You can do that having a timer in class. Thankfully, with the introduction of all of these lovely interactive whiteboards that we have these days, they have a whole lot. You can do everything there. It's just to exploit some more. For the people who have the up-to-date ones, you can do just about everything there. You can set a timer there, you can set your plan there, you can set everything up there. But in the absence of that, you still can build a routine that works for you in the class that the children understand, irrespective of their ages. So yeah, you have a to-do list, you understand the uniqueness, you build a routine. And one other thing I encourage teachers to do is to explore within, if you have the interactive whiteboard. If you do not, and you have just a laptop or a phone, or explore Google Classroom. It's built. Now, we're not where apps have been built for specific schools yet, in Nigeria especially. Here, I've seen apps built for specific schools just with their operations, so it works really seamlessly. But Google, since it's free, they've tried to put in everything. It's a lot. It's not specific to your school just yet, but it has everything. You need to just really, really explore. In Google Classroom, you find things like planners, year planners, you find teachers planners, you find schedules. You just have everything set up there. Create folders where you can put your resources, you can put your homework, you can put your assignments, you can put reminders every, so that when you have to fetch a thing on the go, you know where it is, you know what folder it is. That way, you're not struggling with time to do all of these and run into those hurdles. I'll get back to you. I haven't seen it. Those type of things. It puts you on the edge. It increases your stress level, and that's what we're trying to kick against. That's what we're trying to manage. So exploit about everything. I'm sure is on Google Classroom. For your sorting, for your planning, everything is just there. I just before I left, I was doing a lot with Google Classroom. Funny enough, but because I don't mastered them, I can't tell you this is for this, that's for that, this is for this. But I knew it was working for me. It was seamless. It makes the work really easy. It makes the work flow. Not let me not use the word easy. It makes the work flow. Such that it just keeps going from one to the other without too many hurdles. Like I said earlier, you need to know when you work best. Now, managing time also, this is from experience. I have seen one thing that takes teachers time a lot is that colleague of yours who's just passing through your class and wants to have a chat, wants to have a word, and you're just going from your class to the toilet, maybe you want to have a word with that other teacher. It's fine to communicate with colleagues. It's fine to chat with colleagues. It's healthy. But from experience, that chat with colleagues steals a whole lot of time. It steals more time than you think. It steals more time. It's healthy, like I said, but let's always try to strike a balance. We may never have a perfect scenario, but let's try and be conscious to strike a balance. Stopping by people's room to have a chat. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. And it will not stop happening because it's part of the work environment. It's part of the work environment. It's good. It's good, but let's be very, very mindful so that we do not take too much time trying to do that. Is everyone following? Have I lost anybody?
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Just to be sure everyone is here, I'd like to hear Temi Tokpe say something, anything about what we're discussing, something you've picked, something you're guilty of, something you're not sure of, just anything.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. I think um, um, everything is going fine at least. The only aspect I think I'm actually guilty of at times is the aspect of after teaching the class. Now you might be able to manage your time during the process of time given, but the aspect of you marking and then giving correction at the same time within the time limit is a kind of always very difficult at times. Maybe if you can help us throw more light to that aspect, there is no way I don't know, not especially when the population of the pupils are plenty, like let's say 20 something and above, you will not be able to teach within, let's say for us in Nigeria, our time limit is 40 minutes. So for us to teach within that 40 minutes, mark at the same time and give correction, honestly, I don't know how to manage that time. It's always a whole lot, honestly. Thank you, sir.
Okay, nice one, Temi Tokpe. And just to reassure you, there's this song I used to sing as a very young boy in church. You're not alone. You're not alone. You know, trust me, we've all been there. Some of us are still there. It's not going to go away just yet. But what can we do to manage it? Like I said, it's about managing it. And for me, managing it, when you have something not going well in the Nigerian parlance, say a wife and the husband are having issues, they go to the parents to report one another. The parents will say, manage her like that. That's not the case. Manage her like that is accept it like that. No, but because we're professionals, managing it is deliberately taking steps to see that you make the best most around it. Now, back to your concern. First off, it's very important you put that into the plan for the lesson. Put that into the plan for the lesson. Secondly, be very sure you're not giving too much work. You don't need 10 questions to assess the learning of a child. You make sure you're not giving too much. Depending on the class you're teaching, make sure you try to delegate. Make sure you try to delegate. You're not delegating your responsibility in total. You're just making them a part of the learning process, making them independent, responsible, supervising them, and still achieving the set goals, right? Then again, depending on the class you're teaching, they can pair assess while they share with the rest of the class so that you're sure you are in track, right? For the very, very big ones, the very big ones in year one and year two and early years, these are the very, very big ones. You would say it's a bit difficult to do that. That's why you have to reduce it, the work you give to them to assess what has been taught. Now, I try to tell people, whatever your objective of the lesson is, it should not be ambiguous. Everything cannot be learned in one day. Someone sent something to me recently. Um it's a scheme of work for certain classes in a particular school, and it's music. Well, he's just new into the game. He's a copper, so he was asked to do the scheme of work, and he sent me the scheme of work. And each week, where he's going to be meeting the children once a week, had a new topic. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So this Tuesday you're learning the record, and next Tuesday you're learning the piano. I'm like, wow. Uh, yes, I was wow like that to myself because it's just not possible. It's just not possible. It has to be smart. The objective has to be smart. It's attainable, it's measurable. You can assess it. It should not be ambiguous at all. Even the children should understand the objective. I teach objectives as if that's where my lesson starts from. I teach objectives. I write the objective on the board or whatever, and we in the next 5-10 minutes we are discussing the objective. At what point do you know you have met this objective? At what point do you know you are doing the right thing? So they know. So they know. And if someone is getting it wrong or sharing with the class and someone else thinks he or she is wrong, they get to just, but sir, but ma, Miss Kogi, Miss Temitope, I think, they all have, give them time to speak because it's their learning. They actually learn most from themselves than they will ever learn from you. We as teachers, well, we really don't know so much, we just know what we know. These children, oh God, trust me, they know a million things that we do not know. So let's create that environment for them where they can pair assess, they listen to presentations from their classmates, you know. But most importantly, remember the work you're giving should not be too much. We give too much work. And I've come out of school, I've come out of teaching into the real world and like all of these things we're learning in this class. Where in this real world are we actually applying them? There's so much disconnection. There's so much disconnection. And even till date, people are still doing Roman numerals. Why, in heaven's God's sake, why? You know, but it's difficult to actually go against the status quo when probably you're not privileged or you're not aware. But these are questions should be that should be asked from time to time, right? So most importantly, remember, not too much work, pair assess, put that into the plan so that you can achieve it. You try it once, it may not work, you try it again, keep working at it, and certainly you'll find a way that works best for you, such that teaching is done, learning is done, assessment is done, feedback is given, goals met. So, yep, I've seen your thumbs up, Mr. Mitokwa. I'm sure I've been able to do justice to that. If not, you can ask the guru, Miss Kogi, later in a private chat. All right, going on.
I will give her your handle.
Going on, I see Miss Tega. I haven't heard a word from you. Can we hear Miss Tega say something?
Hold on, Miss Tega, you go.
Miss Tega there. I hope we're not doing that thing that happens with one of the challenges of meetings like this. Well,
Yes.
I'm guilty of one right now, because if you see my position in this very house, it's just my face that will be nice enough for you to see. Every other thing you can't see, and I know different positions people are taking all manner of positions. Sorry about that. Okay, if we can't get Miss Tega, can we get Miss Sandra or anyone who's willing to just have a go?
Miss Sandra.
Okay, good evening, sir. Yeah. Okay, so far I've been, at least I've gained something talking about time management. Well, the network logged me out, so I just came. I didn't get the last part of what you explained to me, Tinitokpe. Actually, what she said, the challenges of having to, cover your scheme,
Yeah.
especially in a government school where we have 40 minutes. Although for me, geography is usually like two periods, like that's 120 minutes, but at least we actually try our best. But at least what I've gained so far is this Google Classroom that you mentioned. I think I'm going to explore more on that. Usually, I take my kids to we have a school media where we use tech to teach. It's a government school. It's not all teachers actually make use of it. But I try
It's all
to
right,
use it
it's
for my own.
better.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's very clear.
Okay, okay. So, but the Google Classroom, I think I would like to know more on it so that it will help me.
Okay.
So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, it certainly will. Just start learning. It's readily available. That's why I'm talking about it. It's readily available for anyone who wants to. There's a whole lot you can learn from there. You can do with it. All right, we have another boss in the house in the person of Mr. Mine. Mr. Mine, can we hear a word from you, please?
Papa. Yeah. Just quick,
Mr. Mcanthony, why are you doing this to me?
Well, there's no way I can pass.
I just joined a few minutes ago. I am trying to catch up with the discussion. I believe the topic is about time management,
Yes, sir.
and I also want to believe you've done justice to it. There is something very important you said that I want to stress on: the fact that we do not need to do too much, right? Maybe most times teachers are guilty of trying to prove a point that we're doing very well, our kids are learning very well. So there's this temptation of wanting to do a lots of objectives, but at the end of the day, you end up not learning anything. Now, let me tell you something. Um, It might not be related, but it is related. Talking about time management, it has a lot to do with your classroom management as well. There's a program I am currently doing where we've been told that whatever it is you are teaching should be properly scaffolded, and you should break knowledge down into small, small, small chunks, right? You're breaking knowledge down into really, really small chunks. And when you scaffold, you assess. You scaffold, you assess.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
way, you would have made good progress. The children will be happy with themselves because since you've broken down the knowledge, it's easy for them to say, okay, I have achieved this objective, and they are happy with themselves. Now, the idea behind this, because the program I am doing is something to do with leading behavior and culture, that normally lessons get to be disrupted when children realize that they are not learning
yes,
because you've made it really complicated. You are trying to prove that, my kids can do really hard stuff. You're not scaffolding enough. You're not breaking the knowledge into little, little chunks, right? The point I'm trying to make is when you break knowledge into little chunks, you assess before moving on, you would have helped to manage your time in class. You would have achieved a lot as opposed to trying to prove that we're doing a lot of difficult stuff in this class, which will lead to your lessons being disrupted. You start having issues with behavior. You start having children that are not willing to learn again because you are trying to prove a point by making things difficult. So keep it simple, make your teacher objective, um, organize your lesson in such a way that there are little breaks, little checks,
yeah,
right? At the beginning of your lesson, you should always have a retrieval activity, at the beginning of the lesson. Make it very short, not too long. After that, you teach small chunks, you assess, then you
yes,
carry
yes.
on. You teach small chunks, you assess, then you carry on. You don't wait till the end of the lesson. Thank you. For putting me on the spot.
When the boss speaks, there's no disputing the fact that that's the boss who has just spoken.
Anthony, you are the boss here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mina, for that.
Thank you. Welcome. Yeah.
Mr.
Now,
Mcanthony might I add something?
okay, yes, you go ahead, please, Miss Cookie.
In teaching, one thing a lot of children realize, and especially when you're learning with Nigerian curriculum, I noticed, like I stopped doing it a long time ago. If I'm teaching math, I make my examples on the board. The children should not copy the example because that is a waste of time. Your examples are there, then you give us 2, 3, 4, at most 5. Then you can be able to see if they know what they are doing, if they are following you, and then you should be able to divide your class into higher ability, lower ability, and medium ability, so that you can. That's the only way you can access. Because first of all, we have many slow writers, and then you want them to copy all your examples before they start doing the work that you teach them. It will never work. It cannot. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Cookie. So, yeah, most valid points, I would say, very valid points. You just can't heap everything on the children at a go. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You'll find in a class of 40, just about 3, 4, 5 will be able to assimilate that, and the others are struggling. And if you're not engaging these children on a short-term basis within the class, you would have lost some from the beginning, and you won't even know up until the end when you want to do a formative assessment at the end of the class. It should be an ongoing thing for every idea that is worth it, that comes up, that you think you need to throw more light. Then you need to check if understanding has been established. So it's very, very important. Now, make sure you prioritize what's most important, what's least important, so that you don't focus on the least important ones for too long. set the goals, you're planning, you're delegating. Um, to manage your time, make sure you set boundaries. We talked about routine at the beginning. In a class, you would find once one child may be genuinely pressed, wants to use the restroom, another one wants to, and the other one wants to. So you need to set boundaries. It happens, yeah, that it's they got carried away or something and couldn't do that during break time because that's what the break times are for. But then again, you need to keep reiterating this. This is what this is what the break times are for, so that when they're in your class, when you want them to be together for the learning process, they are there and there are no disruptions whatsoever. I've talked about well, because of our various places of engagement and opportunities, we are going if you need to just go into automation. If you're not digital, you're not automated, you're still going to struggle. It's gone, education has gone past that. It has to be digital, it has to be there. You have to use technology. Otherwise, the things you are able to do in 20 minutes, you find yourself struggling in 1 hour with same things. But once you engage technology, you should be able to achieve more. Then again, let's ensure that I understand the pressure. It comes from leadership, it comes from the society, it comes from parents and all of that. They want to do book look, they want to do that. You want to make sure the book is looking good. You want to make sure there's a whole lot in the book. But I'd rather the children have that in their heads than the books having them. You know, at some point, if you're sure of what you're doing, you should be able to stand your ground. You know, the children should have the information, useful information, usable information than the books having the information. So let's be aware of that. So we get these children not just to. I still see people who sit down and they copy notes. I'm beginning to see that like a sin. Well, expectedly, it's still there, fading up gradually, but we can actually do better. You know, so basically that's what time management is about. You're trying to maximize the time you've been given such that it's most productive, it's most efficient. You are less stressed. The children are less stressed, but achieving, so that when you step out of that class, you're not completely drained. You can still have time for a drink or two. Not everyone outside the classroom becomes an enemy, and maybe you step out of the class, you're talking with one colleague of how it's so stressed, and that's a leadership member is stressing you out, giving you, it shouldn't really be the case, because ordinarily, without all of those external hurdles or encumbrances, it's already a tough job where you have to, I tell people, you have to perform um, surgery for 20 children at a go. It's pastoral, it's psychological, it's emotional, it's academic, all of that for 20 children at a go. Aren't you a superstar? Yes, you are. That's why teachers should be valued some more. So, most importantly, let's reflect what's been working for you. If it's not working for you, what can I do? There are tips. Ask questions, talk with colleagues, network. That's the only way you can get better with your time, with your classroom, with your overall engagement as a teacher, so that people are leaving the job because it's already really stressful. It's already really stressful. Not that and it's not commensurate with the pay. Well, unfortunately, it is what it is. Hopefully, it gets better. But while we are in it, while we're still doing it, let's make the most out of it for ourselves, for the children, most importantly, and hopefully it affects or it benefits the society. that's a discussion for another day. How education and the society and religion and the society are so disconnected, but that hopefully gets better. So thank you very much, Miss Kogi, for letting me do this. It's a rare privilege. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Mr. Mcanthony, for your time. I know all that I'm supposed to be doing now. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes. Miss
Questions? Yes,
Grace, I think Miss Grace has a word. Can we just listen to Miss Grace before?
yes. Miss Pega is finally here. Miss Grace. Miss Grace, go on.
Oh,
Okay, Miss
oh,
Grace.
I'm so sorry. I didn't unmute my mic.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mcanthony. Such a beautiful presentation and an eye opener, kind of. And time management is actually a topic that it's on every teacher's bucket list because we try to juggle up all our activities every day, just trying to meet up with deadlines and what have you. Personally, I think my take home today is you talking about making a to-do list. That's something I have to be intentional about because I think I just tend to have a mental picture, of what my day should be. Okay, then with the guide of the timetable we have in class, I don't just tend to put it down manually or digitally on how I want my day to go. So for me, my take home is I think I'm going to be big on to-do list because I think it will make you accountable, about the things you want to achieve in class. And then also, Mr. Mine, thank you so much for that fantastic bit you added to the presentation.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome. You're
think I
welcome.
learned one or two from that. Then also to just speak to other educators in the house. I think one way I have been able to manage my class and then reduce the workload, and then I'm not all stressed at the end of the day is I've been able to effectively impute the use of AI. I think AI is a beautiful thing if you know how to navigate the apps and what have you. It tends to help you with a whole lot of, mental work, a whole lot of thinking. It just helps you. So if you can find one way or the other to just chip in the use of artificial intelligence in your classroom, it would also help you manage your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Grace. Miss Mcanthony, I think something.
All right. If with your permission, I can just jet out.
Okay. I know.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And bye,
Thank you very much,
everyone. I
Miss
have to
Mcanthony.
go deep
We'll do this
calls.
again another time. Thank you so much.
All right. Sorry.
All right, Mr. Guy, you want to say something? Maybe I can help. If I can't, Mr. Nina is still here.
Oh, it's okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Um, yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute myself while I was being called, so all my efforts didn't work out. And I didn't want to interrupt him while he was speaking when I had to change my internet. So yeah, it was a great one. I wish I had the chance to let him know. It was a nice presentation. A couple of things I picked up, some of the other teachers have mentioned. I really appreciate the insights. Unfortunately, in this part of the world where I am, here in Nigeria, it's quite a challenge, implementing some of these strategies, especially because, like he mentioned, expectations of school authorities, of parents, it's really challenging. You're telling them, for instance, I teach speech, spoken English, helping learners, children, adults to speak right. But parents still expect that in a speech class, the children should copy notes. It's really challenging. I'm like, this isn't your usual. This is speech. We should spend the time teaching the children to speak and not spending the time writing speech on the board. No, the parents need to see the notebook. You need to mark it. And so I really appreciate the insight he has shared and some of the suggestions too. I think I'd want to implement that and hopefully that helps us going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guy. Now, Mr. Nina will remember we had a headmaster once. I don't know if Mr. No, Mr. Bruce. Mr. Bruce say you say you teach children, you don't teach the curriculum. So you should have that at the back of your head. And then this is one of the reasons why we are doing this. You are the professional. You as a professional, you should be able to take your stand. And then for some parents that want to fight you or something, you ask them, do you prefer your child to sit or to copy notes? You see that then they will start and they should talk now, but they should still copy notes. Then you should need to understand that you need to do more of practical than spoken. It's like I keep on fighting Nigerian teachers. I don't know why we are copying a lot of Spanish news, and then there's no experiment. So on my own, I do more of experiments than any notes. If I have to copy notes, then they know what they need to do. And so far, all this have worked after I left Abuja Press. I think they've given up on me at the long run because anyway, there's always before. Mr. Mina, do you want to add anything to what Mr. said?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. We have Miss Amelia in the house.
She ran away.
She possibly she's left.
Yes.
Oh,
Amelia has left. I actually wanted to ask her to keep on time management in the early years. What her take is like fish has been there for the last 1 million years. She would have been able to give more insight on that. I think she had to leave. Well, that's everyone. Thank you for this. Thank you for your time. I hope you got value. Any other question? Okay, if there is none, I have another engagement in about an hour. Let me rest up. Look at my life before my time. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Let's do this again in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.